Howdy y'all, thank you for joining us today for this unboxing of Arkham Horror the card game, War of the Outer Gods, the Scenario Pack. Arkham Horror the card game is a living card game that is a cooperative game for 1 to 2 players that takes 60 to 120 minutes for ages 14 plus. Howdy y'all, thank you for joining us today for this unboxing of Arkham Horror the card game. It is a scenario pack, the War of the Outer Gods. The Earth is engulfed in all-out war. Investigators must collaborate to save Earth from the cataclysmic War of the Outer Gods. In this unique 78-card scenario for Arkham Horror the card game, 3 fanatical cults are fighting one another to be the first to summon the Outer God. And it's up to one investigator to thwart their... to thwart their devious machinations. This scenario can be played with 1 to 4 investigators as a standalone scenario or inserted into a campaign as a side story. So that's what I like about this. They have a bunch of these where you just kind of mix them in, or you can just play them by themselves. And it tells you how to do all that inside this, of course. So, yep. Now, the weird thing about this one is, like you'll notice on some of the old ones, they have like a QR code you could scan that lets you know what's inside of it. With these, they don't. I'm assuming it's so that you can play through this and kind of know. But we are going to reveal the cards today and kind of let you see what's inside of it. Normally this has a cut here. I already cut it, or a piece of tape. I already cut it so I can get this open just so it doesn't take forever to get y'all right into it, because I usually fumble around with it for a bit. So in this one, it's sent a small little book here for doing this. Most time when you open these little packs for the LCGs, you want to make sure to go and look underneath this little tuck here, because they usually tuck it underneath here. In this case, they sent us the small little book. And we'll go through that here in a second, as we got the 2 decks for running through this. All right. So like I said, we got the little book here. Kind of tells us the same thing we kind of saw on the back. Lets us know this expansion symbol, so you know that those cards came from this thing, from this pack. It's got the game modes here, lets you know how to do all that. The standalone mode. And then it's got your chip set. If you're doing it as a side story, the campaign in your campaign. So additional rules and clarifications right off the bat. And they go through all that. In the lead, warring, since it is about 3 cults warring against each other. This sounds actually kind of cool. Kind of like those scenarios when they had them inside of the Arkham Horror games and whatnot. Epic multiplayer mode, which is where you have to have multiples of these. But yep, so it's just got all this set up in here. And then optional variant, the Fog of War. I guess that's kind of like, since if you don't know, you can buy a box from Arkham Horror, for Arkham Horror LCG for each complete scenario, and they have basically in the back of that, or in that little box, they have a new way of playing through it, basically like a hard mode, basically. I usually get them for every one. I have not seen one for a while, but maybe it's just because I finally caught up to owning all the stuff. All right, sorry, I had to use my handy dandy serrated object to get these open. Otherwise, I fumble about for a bit and waste a lot of time on camera. All right. All right, we're going to go through these cards. I'm not going to read through every single card, but I'll at least try to keep it on frame long enough for you to be able to read it and pause if you want to see it. But here we go. All right, right off the bat here. Oh, well, looks like I might have these out of order. Yep, let's put these in order. There we go. Let's do it from the get-go. All right. And the way I know if they were in order or not is if you haven't played, or if you haven't played, they basically have the number down here letting you know the number of the cards. That way you can know if you have all the cards for a scenario and when you're putting it all back in order for storage and whatnot. All right, so right off the bat, we have the War of the Outer Gods, the chip set to let you know what the chips do in this particular scenario, and it's for easy and standard there. And then we have the hard expert mode. Then we get right into the agendas, the summoning of Selenis, and then the back to let you know where to go, the summoning progresses, and then the back to show more of the story. As you pull these off, the summoning nears completion. The war is over. And then we get into the agendas, the incubation of the egg, and then reinforcements. The incubation progresses, summoning the servitor. Sorry, sometimes I'm concentrating so much on making sure everything's in camera, I just don't pay attention to what I'm actually saying half the time. The incubation nears completion. War's over. And then we have another agenda here. The proliferation of the swarm. Reinforcements. The proliferation progresses. The swarm spreads. The proliferation nears completion. War is over. War of the Outer Gods. This is an act. Here we go. A portal opens. Close the portal. Sealed off. Close all portals. The world is saved. All right, that's all the agendas and whatnot. Now we're going to get into the locations. Try to get these. I always have problems getting this all on camera because of wanting to show all this. So bear with me here. Arkham. Streets of Providence. Athenium of the Empty Sea. I feel like I always say that word wrong. Could just be my accent. Athenium of the Empty Sea. The Arcade. Streets of Montreal. Chateau Ramsey. Ramazay. Shrine of Magan Arkat. Streets of New York City. The Burning Pit. The Pit House. Hub Dimension. Nihilistic Stargazer. So now we're just getting into the enemies and stuff. Death and Decay. Oh, got a little bit of bad glare there. Death and Decay. Zealot of Paradise. 2 of those. Predator's Call. 2 of those. Disciple of the Swarm. 2 of those. Feast of Locusts. 2 of those. Hellfire. 3 of those. Ravages of War. 2 of those. And that's where the decks combine, by the way. While They Sleep. 2 of those. Ethereal Entity. 1 of those. Bringer of Paradise. 1 of those. Trilogog. 1 of those. And then we got a new set of cards here. Probably talks about that as part of this, the War. Selenis Descends. Then we have Selenis. The Inescapable Maw. Moon-Stitched Herald. Ethereal Entity. 2 of those. Inevitable End. 3 of those. Then we have the Egg Hatches. Magan Arkat. Vile Broodmaster. Horrific Shoggoth. Bringer of Paradise. 2 of those. Hunt Down. 2 of those. 3 of those. Then we get into Azel Zin Razel emerges. And there he is. Droning Horde. Trilogog. 4 of those. Transmogrify, 2 of those. Cloak of the Outer Realm, Pocket Portal, Dreaded End, Blade of Arkham, and Enchanted Skull. Now, I'm about to say, I find that most of these are things that you'll be able to find and add to your decks. So if you do it as a side scenario, so that's pretty cool. All right, this looks like a fun one. I think I definitely want to get this one to the table, but hopefully I didn't go too fast for y'all there. We'll get this mixed in, get it all together. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.